Hello students, today we are discussing about the electrostatics, the chapter, the second year syllabus. So in this particular chapter we are starting with the Coulomb's inverse square law. Once Coulomb's inverse square law is completed, the definition and formula everything is over, then we will discuss the applications of Coulomb's inverse square law. Then after completion of Coulomb's inverse square law, we discuss about electric field and the derivation of electric field due to point charges and continuous charge distributions, and then we apply Gauss law to find the intensity of electric field, and then finally the chapter concludes with the potential and the relation between potential and field. So in this particular chapter electrostatics, so where we are discussing about Coulomb's law, field and potential, in this particular chapter we are discussing today about the Coulomb's inverse square law and their applications. So let us discuss about Coulomb's inverse square law. So this is the Coulomb's inverse square law. So in order to define the Coulomb's inverse square law in electrostatics, two charges are required. Let us represent the two charges with the Q1 and Q2. So these are the two charges Q1 and this is the another charge Q2. Both are separated by certain distance d. So when two charges are separated by certain distance d, then there exists between them either attractive force or repulsive force. When attractive force exists, when repulsive force exists. Whenever two charges have got the same sign, means the same nature, that means what? If both are positive charges, between them repulsion exists. If one is positive and other one is negative charge, then there exists attraction. So force of attraction exists between two unlike charges, means dissimilar charges. Force of repulsion exists between two similar charges. Similar means both must be either positive or both must be either negative. So the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to product of the charges Q1 and Q2, and force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Force is proportional to magnitude of the product of two charges. If the magnitude of charges increase, then force also increases between them. If the distance between two charges decrease, if the distance decreases, force increases. If the distance between two charges increase, then force decrease. Means force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Now combine these two, then we can combine the formula like this: F proportional to Q1 Q2 by d square. So here we have a proportionality. We have to remove the proportionality. Whenever we remove the proportionality, we have to replace it with a constant. That constant let us write as a k Q1 Q2 by d square. This constant of proportionality k depends on the unit system of units selected, SA system, CJ system, etc. It also depends on the surrounding medium, whatever the medium which we have selected. That means what? If these two charges are separated in air medium, or we can also call free space, air or free space, then k takes certain value. If these two charges are separated in any other medium, means between these two, if any dielectric medium is there, insulating medium is there, or other medium is there, other than air or free space, then k takes the different value. So k depends on the nature of medium existing between the two charges Q1 and Q2. What are the different kinds of medium? Means any medium you can select. Here you can put any medium. Between these two you can take water. Between these two you can consider a sawdust medium or mica sheet medium, etc. When the medium changes, the k value changes. So k value depends on the nature of the medium. So first let us begin giving the value of k with the area of free space. So let us consider first. Let us consider two charges Q1, comma Q2 are separated in air or free space. They are separated in air or free space. When both are separated in air or free space, then what is going to happen? These two charges are separated. Then K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So here we have used one new physical quantity. We have introduced one new physical quantity. This you have to pronounce, or this you have to call as a epsilon naught. What is the meaning of epsilon naught? This is called permittivity of the medium. If you use this symbol, naught symbol, zero symbol, that shows that this is air or free space. So this zero symbol shows that here this medium must be, the medium between the two charges must be air or free space. Then only here epsilon naught comes. Epsilon naught is called, this epsilon naught is called permittivity. This is called permittivity of air or free space. Permittivity of air or free space. This is the epsilon naught value. Now substitute this k value here. F is equal to, you can write this one as k. We have got 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square. This is the force formula between the two charges when both the charges are separated in which medium? Air or free space. That's why epsilon naught can be written as this, because we are saying that both the charges are replaced in air or free space. So in air or free space, you can write here F naught. If the medium is other than air or free space, between these two, if the medium is other than air or free space, this F naught can be replaced with the F. You can write in any other medium F. So whereas if the charges are in air or free space, use the symbol naught. F naught. Moreover, what is epsilon naught? Permittivity of air or free space. Permittivity of air or free space. So this is epsilon naught. So now epsilon naught value can be written as epsilon naught equal to 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. 2 hours of subaclash epsilon naught equal to 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. Unit is coulomb into coulomb. Coulomb square by Newton meter square. This is the unit of the epsilon naught. What is the unit of epsilon naught? Coulomb square by Newton meter square. So epsilon naught value have written as 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. So this you have to remember. So if we substitute this epsilon naught value in this equation, then this total constant becomes F naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi into epsilon naught. What is epsilon naught? 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. That value if I substitute, it becomes 9 into 10 power 9. 9 into 10 power 9 coulomb square, 9 into 10 power 9 Q1 Q2. Q1 Q2 by d square Newton. This is the force between the two charges in air or free space. Force between two charges in air or free space. This is about the Coulomb's law. Force between the two charges is directly proportional to product of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So once we have defined like that, we wrote that F proportional to Q1, Q2 and F proportional to 1 by d square. Then finally, we mentioned that in air or free space medium, F naught equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by d square. Remember, this zero symbol comes when two charges are separated in air or free space medium. If the two charges are separated other than air or free space, this zero symbol cannot come, it doesn't come. So this epsilon naught value is this much, this value constant. If we substitute epsilon naught here, this total value becomes as 9 into 10 power 9 Q1 Q2 by d square. So this is about the force between the two charges. Now next discussion is, if two charges are separated in other than air medium, in other than air or free space medium, air or free space medium, if two charges are separated other than air or free space, in that case what happens is F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by d square. This epsilon is called permittivity of that particular medium. Epsilon is called permittivity of that medium. Earlier we wrote this one as epsilon naught. In which medium? Air or free space. Now we have taken that the medium is different. So when the medium is other than air or free space, we have to change this value as epsilon. Then this becomes F. Remember, for air medium, for air or free space, we have to use epsilon naught. Other than air or free space, we have to use epsilon. Which one? Epsilon. So this is called, epsilon is called permittivity of that particular medium. This is the force between the two charges when these two charges are separated in any other medium. So this is the force between two charges in any other medium other than air or free space. Right. So if we divide these two, then here we can define one physical quantity. Epsilon by epsilon naught is called epsilon r. What is epsilon r? Relative permittivity. This is called relative permittivity. This is also called as epsilon by epsilon naught as K. K is called dielectric constant. This is called dielectric constant. So these are the two names. The ratio of permittivity of medium to the permittivity of air or free space. This ratio is called relative permittivity. It is called relative permittivity, or the same ratio can also be called as a dielectric constant. Dielectric constant. So that means two names you can give for this ratio. What are they? Epsilon by epsilon naught is epsilon r, or epsilon by epsilon naught is K. That means here in this formula you can replace the epsilon with the K epsilon naught or epsilon naught r. So let us write epsilon is equal to K epsilon naught. Substitute this epsilon here. So force between the two charges in any medium is equal to 1 by 4 pi K epsilon naught, because epsilon is replaced with what? Epsilon is equal to K epsilon naught. Q1 Q2 by d square. This is the force between two charges in any medium. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi k epsilon naught q1 q2 by d square. This is the one important form. Then earlier we wrote force between two charges in air or free space as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by d square. So this is the in air or free space. This is the force between two charges when two charges are separated in which medium? Air or free space. When these two are separated in any other medium. That means if we show in this diagram, this is the Q1, this is Q2, this is the a different medium. Let us take this is the water medium. Both are separated in water. Here, same two charges are taken Q1, Q2, separated in which medium? Air medium or vacuum. Free space means vacuum. So here, two charges are separated in which medium? Water medium. Here, two charges are separated in which medium? Air medium. So that's why here when separated in air medium, we can write as F0. When separated in water medium, we can write this one as K epsilon naught. Now divide them as this. Let us consider this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. Let us divide 2 by 1. What it is going to give? 2 by 1. Remember we are doing second by first one. What is the second equation left hand side? F0. Here F. So F0 by F is equal to F0 by F is equal to, this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and 1 by 4 pi k epsilon naught. Means how to write this one? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi k epsilon naught. Q1 Q2 by d square, Q1 Q2 by d square. Both get cancelled. It implies F0 by F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught cancelled out. K comes to numerator. This is one important formula. Or force between two charges in any medium is equal to, bring this K to this side, F0 by K. This is what? Force between two charges in any medium. This is what? Force between those two same charges in air or free space. In air or free space. Now let us discuss about the applications of Coulomb's law. Earlier we have defined the Coulomb's law. Now we are going to discuss about their applications, about its applications. Now first application is find the minimum force between two charges, minimum force between two charges separated by 1 meter distance in air medium. Minimum force is asking. See, in this question, charges values are not given, but he is asking minimum force between the two charges. How can we consider or how can we calculate force, minimum force between the two charges without knowing the charges? First we should know one important point. Basically, there exists one important application, one important property of the charge. That important property is charge is quantized. Charge quantization means charge on any body can be expressed as plus or minus Ne. Charge on any body can be expressed as plus or minus Ne. You know, according to the chemistry principles or physics principles, you know, if you remove one electron from one atom, and add the same electron to the another atom, the atom which has lost the electron gains which charge? Positive charge. The atom which received the electron gains which charge? Negative charge. See, this is the atom number 1. This is atom 1 and it is the atom 2. So from here one electron is taken and kept over here. This is the electron. Electron possesses which charge? Negative charge. One electron is taken out and that electron is kept over the next atom. So it has lost the electron. Atom 1 has lost the electron. If one electron is lost, it gains which charge? One positive charge. It gains how much charge? It gains one negative charge. Like this it happens. Means charge quantized means you can take one electron and add here. You can take two electrons and you can add here. You can take three electrons and you can add here. You can take four electrons and four electrons can be added. But you can't take half electron or 1/4 of electron from one atom and you can't add it to the another atom. That means what? Whenever the charge is created or electron is removed from one atom and kept over the another atom, then we need to take as a multiple of integer. That's why it is called charge quantization. Means this n is integer. Integer. N is integer means n takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. N cannot take 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, etc. So Q is equal to plus or minus Le. If it is plus or minus Le, your question asked is minimum force between the two charges. So minimum means n value starts with what minimum value? 1. So the minimum value of n is equal to 1. That's why Q is equal to plus or minus 1 into E. That means one charge is Q1 is equal to E. Second charge is also E, electron. What is the charge of electron? Charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Another charge is also Q2 is also 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So Q1 is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Q2 is also 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This is the charge of electron. Don't forget. The number of electrons removed out is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But charge of the electron will be in the form of fraction that can exist 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Now this is the minimum charge available. Why should we call as these two are minimum charges? Because n takes the minimum number in the integers is 1. What is the minimum value of n in the integer set? N is equal to 1. That's why Q is equal to plus or minus E. So it can take two positives, means two positive charges or two negative charges. But anyways, they must be equal to the electron charge. That's why the electron charge is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This is the minimum charge available, one electron. What is the next charge if you want to give 2E? Means you have to multiply this with the 2. 2 into 1.6. Here also 2 into this value. What is the another charge you can give? 3E. N can take only 1, 2, 3. And whereas E takes this value. So minimum value is N is equal to 1 into E. So force between these two charges becomes minimum force. The medium given is equal to which medium? Air medium. F naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square. So F naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Earlier I have given this value as 9 into 10 power 9 Q1 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 into Q2 is also same. That means this can be squared. By d square, distance separated is 1 meter. 1 square means 1 only. So this force approximately it comes as 23.01 into 10 power minus 29 Newton. This is the force between the two charges when two charges are either two electrons or two protons or one electron or one proton. Remember once again, minimum force. Force becomes minimum when the charge magnitude is minimum. Means this charge must be minimum. Minimum charge means n should take 1 only. So 1 into E means Q is equal to E. E means charge of electron. Charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So that is the important point to be remembered here. Now another application is second application. It is Q1 charge, this is Q3 and it is Q2. It is separated by 1 meter and 1 meter. See, question asked is, what is the force on Q3? Force on Q3. Force on Q3 means what? Force on Q3 due to Q1 and Q2. Due to Q1 and Q2, how much force is acting on Q3? So to find the force on Q3, how to proceed? Means here, see, all are given positive charges. Here no negative is given. When no negative is given, you have to consider them as positive charges. These two are positive. Question asked is force on Q3. So Q3 is repelled by Q1 because these two are what charges? Positive charges. Between two positive charges, what force exists? Repulsion. So that repulsive force acts on this. So Q1 repels this Q3, means it pushes it away. So Q3 is repelled by Q1. Q3 is repelled by Q1. That's why Q3 will feel the force in this direction towards right side. So that force you consider as F1. So F1 can be written as F1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. That means you can take that value as simply K into Q1 Q3. Q1 Q3 by distance is 1 meter, means 1 square, is equal to K Q1 Q3. This force is acting in what direction? Positive x-axis, means I cap, in this direction. Now second one is force on Q3 by Q2. So Q2 also repels Q3 because these two are positive charges. So this will be repelled by Q2 in this direction. So it will feel the force in this direction. So this is F2. So F2 is equal to K into Q2 Q3. Q2 Q3 by 1 square. So which is equal to K Q2 Q3 and in this direction minus I cap. This is minus I cap, negative x-axis. So how many forces are acting on Q3? Two forces are acting. So you can take net force on Q3 is equal to net force on Q3 is equal to F1 minus F2 or F2 minus F1. Why should we write like this? It depends on the value of F1. If F1 is greater than F2, you can write F1 minus F2. If F2 is greater than F1, you can write this one as F2 minus F1. So first you consider this one. So net force on Q3 is equal to F1 minus F2 K Q1 Q3 minus K Q2 Q3. I cap is not neglected. Remember that we have written here magnitude. This is magnitude. So once you write the magnitude of the force, this will be like this. You can keep here vector F1 bar and F2 bar. Here this is the magnitude of the force. Like this you can proceed. This is the net force on this particular charge. Next application is third one. Here three charges plus Q, plus Q, plus Q are kept at the vertices of equilateral triangle. Plus Q and plus Q kept at the vertices of equilateral triangle. If they are kept at the vertices of equilateral triangle, question asked is force on this particular charge. By these two charges, what is the force acting on this charge? So to find that one, this is A, this is B, and it is C. The question asked is what? Force on Q charge kept at C. So here, this is the charge plus Q kept at C. Kept at C. So this is positive, it is also positive, this is also positive. See, we have to find the net force acting on this charge plus Q. See what happens here. This plus Q is repelled by this plus Q. That means what? This charge push this charge away like this, in this direction. So this is the force. Force always acts along the line of the line joining the two charges. So this force F1 is equal to K Q square by D square. K Q square by D square. This is F1 in this direction. Next F2. What is F2? This positive charge will also repel this positive charge. Means this will be thrown in this direction. Remember, we have to focus on this charge only because we have to find the force on Q which is kept at C. So this positive charge repelled by this positive outside, and this positive is also repelled by this positive charge outside because this is positive and this is also positive. So this positive will be thrown away by this positive charge. That means this experience force in this direction. So that force is equal to F2 is equal to K into product of two charges Q square by distance of separation D, which is equal to D square. Then here this is the equilateral triangle. If it is equilateral triangle, 60, 60, 60, here also 60. Means this is F1 and this force is how much? F2. Two forces are acting on one particular charge with an angle 60 degree between them. So according to parallelogram law of vectors, resultant force acting on this Q is equal to F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos 60. So Fr is equal to, you know what is F1 value? Kq square by d square. F2 value is also Kq square by d square. Means what? F1 and F2 are same. So you can write this one as F square plus F square plus 2F square cos 60 is 1 by 2. 2 got cancelled. Resultant force is equal to under root of F square plus F square plus F square, which is equal to 3F square, which is equal to root 3F. resultant force is equal to root 3 F. So you can write this F1 is equal to F and F2 is equal to F. Because two forces have same value, we are representing them as with F. That's why F1 is replaced with F. F2 also replaced with the F. Again F1 with what? F. F2 is with what? F only. So finally that answer is root 3 F. Root 3 F means you know what is F? Kq square by d square. That is the resultant force. So resultant force on this charge is equal to root 3 into Kq square by d square. This is the resultant force acting on that particular charge. Okay. Next, fourth application is, here you see plus Q and minus Q, A, B and C. Again, three charges are taken. But in comparison with the previous case, what is the change we made here? The change we made here is, earlier this is positive, but we have taken this one is negative. This is negative charge. This is positive charge. It is also positive. Question asked is what? Find force on minus 2 kept at C. Force on minus Q charge, which is kept at C. Minus Q charge, this is. So between this minus Q and positive, what happens is, this is negative charge, this is which charge? Positive charge. Between these two, which force exists? Attraction. Means negative charge wants to go towards the positive. Means what? This positive charge will pull this one towards it. Means it will experience force F1. This will also experience a force F2 between these two. Right. So this is negative and this is also negative. Forces are indicated. So here what happened? F1 is equal to formula, two charges plus Q and plus Q. Don't put the sign here because the sign already has come in the form of direction. K, Q into Q. Q square by d square. Similarly, F2 is equal to K, Q square by d square. Because K, Q square by distance between any two charges can be taken as d, and this is again equilateral triangle, all sides are equal, so this should be taken as 60 degree. So resultant force is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos 60. So resultant force again, this comes as, see, Kq square by d square, Kq square by d square. Magnitudes are same. As the magnitudes are same, force becomes equal. That means what? F1 can be taken as F, F2 can also be taken as F. Means under root of F square plus F square plus 2F square cos 60 1 by 2. So resultant force is F square plus F square plus F square root 3F root 3 into Kq square by d square, that is F. Kq square by d square. This is the resultant force acting on the negative charge. So in the same application number 4, a small change we can make. This is the small change. Let us make this one as the negative charge. Then how answer will be affected? Let us see. This is a different example. Let us consider this one as the fifth. In the fourth example, we made a small change. The small change is, this is actually negative already taken, positive earlier taken, but this is, we change this one as negative. Positive Q replaced by negative Q. Plus Q is changed by negative minus Q. Then question is said, what is the force? What is the force on minus Q charge which is kept at C? Minus Q charge kept at C. That is the force to be calculated. How can we find? See what are the changes happening over here. See, this is negative charge and it is what? Positive. Between these two again attraction exists. So this force doesn't change at all. Between this and this, see, the force direction changes. How? It is negative, this is negative. So this will be repelled by this one in this direction because it will be thrown outside. Means this experiences force like this. So negative charge experiences a force like this. This is F2 and this is F1. This angle you know 60. This is a straight line. Total angle is 180. 60 is gone. What is this angle? 120 degree. So F1, F2 are the two forces acting on the negative charge. With what angle? 120 degree angle. So resultant force Fr is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos 120 degree. Cos 120. That is angle between two forces. These two are acting on negative charge. This charge only. So what is F1? You know F1 you can write here. F1 is equal to F1. Force between these two charges. K Q square by T square. Remember? Sign. No need to indicate in the product. Next, F2 is equal to force between these two charges. K Q square by T square. These two right hand sides are equal. That's why forces are equal. F1 equal to F and F2 is equal to F. Substitute F and F in this place. So Fr is equal to under root of F square plus F square plus 2F square cos 120 minus 1 by 2 got cancelled. Fr equal to under root of F square plus F square minus F square. Fr is equal to plus F square minus F square got cancelled. This is root F square is equal to F. Fr is equal to F KQ square by D square. Fr is equal to KQ square by D square. This is the resultant force acting on this particular charge minus Q. Next application is, this is application number 6. Here, this application is slightly different one. See, first you take y-axis and this is the, you consider this one as the x-axis. So here, origin you know. At the origin, let us place a charge of magnitude q. This is another charge of magnitude q, one more charge. It is also one more charge. One charge at the origin, q, 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 like this. We have arranged all these charges up to infinity. When all the charges are set into infinity, separation between these two charges is 1 meter. Separation between these two charges is 2 meter. between these two charges, remember 4 meter. If you take the next charge Q, imagine the next charge Q, if you take here, then this distance will be, this is equal to 8 meter. Like this, 1 meter, 2 meter, 4 meter and 8 meter. Like that, the distances are separated. Two charges are separated by 1 meter. Here 2 meter, 4 meter and 8. Up to this, the arrangement of charges are taken up to infinity. Question asked is here, find the force on Q charge, force on Q kept at origin. This is the question asked. We have to find the force on which charge? Q charge, which is kept at the origin. Due to all these charges, infinity charges will apply force on this particular charge. That force we have to find. Then how to find that force? You see what is going to happen. Between these two charges there exists repulsion. See, this is positive and positive. That's why what happens is, this particular charge will repel this one in this direction, because this is positive and positive. Both will feel the force like this. I mean, this will experience force in this direction, this will experience force in this direction. We have to concentrate on this only, because question is asked about on the charge only force. That's why this will be pushed outside by this one. That force you consider as F1. F1 between these two charges is equal to K. This is equal to product of charges Q square by D square, 1 square, is equal to K Q square by 1. Simply you can write as 1. Next, F2. This charge will be also repelled by this charge, because these two are having positive charge, positive. So if both are positive charges, again this will be feeling force like this, it will feel the force in this direction. That's why this charge will repel this one in this direction. So that force is F2. F2 is equal to K Q square by, this is equal to 2 square. 2 square is equal to 4. So K Q square by 4. K Q square by 4. Then this force is equal to, between these two, that force is F3. So F3 is equal to, you can write as KQ square by, this is F3, F1, F2 and F3. This is F3. This one, KQ square by 4 square. 4 square is equal to 16. This is KQ square by 2 square. 2 square is equal to 4. Let us write here 2 square. So like this, F4 if you write, you will get KQ square by, here I have indicated distance 8. This is equal to 64. How many forces are acting on this? F1, F2, F3, F4, like this, how many charges? How many forces? Infinity forces. That's why resultant force on Q kept at the origin. Kept at the origin is equal to, all forces are in the same direction, F1, F2, F3, F4, etc. So all forces must be added. F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4 plus so on up to infinity. So resultant force on Q at the origin. F1, what is F1? KQ square by 1 plus KQ square by F2 by 4 plus KQ square by, this is equal to 16, KQ square by 16 plus KQ square by 64, so on infinity. Resultant force on Q. Resultant force on Q at the origin is equal to you can take kq square common. This becomes 1 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 64 plus infinity. So resultant force on Q is equal to kq square by, this is the summation of infinity geometric progression. So that summation is a by 1 minus r. Kq square by a means 1 by 1 minus common ratio 1 by 4 by 1, 1 by 16 by 1 by 4, 1 by 64 by 1 by 16, which becomes 1 by 4. So this is equal to resultant force equal to kq square. 4 comes to numerator, 4 minus 1 is 3. So that is the final answer, 4 kq square by 3. This is about the charges